All right, welcome folks. This is Hello Sugar here with my co-host Slim. We are going to cast a best of series. We are not sure if this is going to be a best of three or best of five, depends on what our players say here. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. In the bottom left corner, we have the red Terran ZerkerMan. In the top right corner, we have our orange, interesting orange Zerg Falconpunch. So this is a pretty big map. Slim, what do you have going into this map as far as expectations of this match?
Well, seeing as this become the new popular build and it's getting popularity very fast, I expect our Terran player to open up with a Hellion Banshee build into a 2 command center expand. Our Zerg player, hopefully he scouts this out in time. Of course, it for sure isn't solid, but this is just a standard that Terrans are now opening up in CVZ. And it transitions very well into either a mech or a bio build, while really putting your Zerg player behind by killing workers, stopping him from taking a third. He can do all types of pressure, like just be annoying as he can to the Zerg, but if the Zerg has got the economy at the position where he needs it to be, he can do some sort of roach baneling all in. But that's like a 50-50 coin flip, and if it does not work, like you're even more behind than what you were. So
Definitely.
that's how the players open up.
Definitely. So we have pretty standard. We're going with the one racks. On this map, we may see him go drop. Oh no, he's dropping another barracks now. So let's see what he has in store. But he's definitely not going for that one racks expand. Our Zerg player 15. I'm gonna guess he's gonna go ahead and drop that hatch. That looks like what he's gonna do. So he's gonna open up pretty standard with the 15 hatch. Probably go into a 14 or 15 pool. He has not been able to scout that Terran player with the dual racks yet. He did send in that drone scout. He just went to the right. He'll probably scout him on his next thing, and he's also going to see this SCV coming across the map. So we'll see what ZerkerMan has in mind here with his 2 barracks. Maybe he's looking to put on some early pressure, do some serious damage, or maybe even just end the game. But you know, that remains to be seen. At this point, even with the 2 racks, he could really go into anything from here. So we have this SCV scout. He's going to miss that. He's sending out another SCV. He's going to take the Zelnaga tower. I don't know if he's maybe going to try to go over there and put up a bunker or what's going on here. But we have actually some probes coming down here. Don't know what they're doing. And the spawning pool is up now, but that's just a little bit late. And he does have some SCVs and Marines coming down. Our Zerg player does have a good scout on this, so he knows what's coming, but there's not too much he can do at this point as spawning pool's about to pop. I think a few Zerglings should be able to hold this off. This SCV's already got the bunker coming up. Sorry about that, folks. And here he goes. He's pulling a bunch of drones off the line. Maybe an overreaction, but he definitely doesn't want to let that bunker finish. He's got that 1 Marine, and I think our Zerg player is going to be able to hold this off. He's got his Zerglings out now, and now that he's got his natural up, he should be at a decent advantage.
Way too many drones for this, though. That was a way overreacting.
Yeah, definitely. And he has these Zerglings here. He should have pulled back those drones right away and just let the Zerglings take care of that Marine. He lost probably about 2 or 3 workers trying to kill that Marine, and that was really unnecessary. Terran sees that this is you know, not working out. He's going to pull back, and now he's quite a bit behind. He only has 2 barracks. He hasn't started mining his gas, hasn't started that expansion. He does have 500 minerals floating. You know, and he can definitely hold off any pressure with these Marines. I feel like he'd be safer to back up behind the wall, throw down the CC. But he actually, those Zerglings are just going to get basically thrown away for nothing. Yeah, and Falconpunch realizes that now. So yeah, we do see the CC coming down.
Yeah, this is a fairly standard opening. He's not going for the Hellion Banshee opening, which is a surprise.
Yeah, I think maybe he was trying to, you know, hope to with the 2 racks. Although I guess if you're going to go 2 racks, maybe he should have tried to proxy the racks. Although in that case, you know, you don't have that wall. It sets you up to any, you know, a much easier counterattack. And you know, he's still not terribly behind. Although, you know, at this point, it would have been advantageous for him to take that CC a little bit sooner. But I think either way, you know, he forced the spine up. Our Zerg player now at 6 minutes 40 seconds still doesn't have a super high drone count. Let's take a look at his units. So he's only at 22 drones versus 15. He's got a couple Zerglings. He's just putting those gas up. So I'd say neither player has a major advantage right now. Our Terran player, although he did set himself a little bit behind with that 2 racks, you know, he did get a few drone kills there, put in a little bit of damage and maybe put the Zerg player on the defensive a bit. He did force that spine crawler, but that may actually be useful here. And it looks like he can probably just walk by that spine. The 3 queens are and the spine crawler and Zerglings, I think, are going to be able to hold this off. Hopefully our Zerg player doesn't overreact to this. I think he doesn't have to worry too much. He's going to throw up another spine, but, you know, he may want to continue droning up behind this a little bit, but we'll see. And taking a look at the production, yeah, our Zerg player does have 6 more drones on the way. He made a couple more Zerglings to be safe, and he's going to pull out another 6 drones. So I think that's the right call. With the 2 spines, 3 queens, and a few Zerglings, he's going to be able to hold off any of this marine pressure at this point. And we now have a 3rd command center going up here too before his natural is even. He's got 1 SCB in his natural. So very interesting play from our Terran player here. And the Evo chamber is going up for our Zerg here. So what do you think, Slim?
I'm sitting here having a balanced debate with somebody on the channel. It's pretty ridiculous.
Okay. So Slim's not in his best focus here, but that's all right. I'll try to keep us floating. And it looks like we have 20 Marines here now out on the field for our Terran player. We got 8 Zerglings, 4 Queens, and a couple Spines here. He's got the Baneling nest coming down. He did go ahead and sort of, you know, mostly wall off, at least with 1 Queen, he can fully wall off the ramp into his main. He does he see that Marine Force stand? No, so he doesn't have a scout on those Marines there, although once this creep starts spreading down, he will soon be able to see the Marines down there at outside his natural. But, you know, at this point, he's pretty much blind. He will see it now with those Zerglings, going to pull back. And a wise decision not to engage there. And, interesting, so I see ZerkerMan, our Terran, is going to go ahead and pull back, just take control of that Zelnaga. He does have about 20 Marines down there just chilling at the Zelnaga tower. So far, nothing crazy out of here. We're dead even on the worker count. Although, yeah, and we also have 2 base to 2 base. I feel like our Zerg player may want to look, now that he's got the Banelings out, he may want to break down those rocks and go ahead and take his 3rd, but we'll see how that plays out. But at this point, I feel like it's probably safe enough for him to go ahead and take that 3rd, and it would give him the advantage. We do see 3 more barracks coming down with reactors, so we have the tech lag. The stim pack is about a 1/3 done so far. No upgrades yet on the way. We don't have engineering base down from our Terran player. We do have the 2 Evo chambers up. We got the +1 melee and +1 armor coming up. The melee's about to finish. I feel like, I guess it didn't really matter, but our Terran player, or our Zerg player, could have waited for that +1 to finish. He's going to go down now. If he was wise, he might want to maybe wait outside the ramp, morph in a few more Banelings, but we'll see what he decides to do. Yeah, it would not be wise to engage at that wall with Zerglings. Although he is going to lower that supply depot. That's an interesting choice. Our Zerg player could just run in. Oh, and he is going to see this 3rd CC, and that'll probably force the lift off there. Yep, and so he forces the lift on the 3rd. Meanwhile, our Zerg player is getting his 3rd base down. He has the infestation pit with pathogen glands on the way. And he's just going to continue and basically take map control. He's got Zergling Baneling with Mass Marine here. He does have a few siege tanks now, so that may help him out a little bit. He does not have siege tech yet. He does now have siege tech that just finished up. So he should be able to at least hold off at this wall here, although he's going to want to look to do something here because, you know, Mass Marine versus Baneling, not so great. And our Zerg player is going to go ahead and break down these destructible rocks here. So, everything looks pretty good at this point. We'll see if our Terran player decides to come back down. He is going to break down these frogs. He may want to land this command center. I think he just wants to make sure that he can secure this third before he puts that back down, and I think he'll probably look to repair that soon too. And we do have an armory coming down. We have the dual eBay. We got the +1/+1 upgrades coming up for our Terran player, but he is a bit behind here. We already have +2/+2 started. +2 melee weapons is about 3/4 done, and our +2 armor has just started for our Zerg player. So he's got the slight advantage on the upgrades here. At least he will in a minute when these upgrades do finish. Although we have a sizable Marine force. We have 41 Marines out from our Terran player and 6 siege tanks. Siege mode is researched. And he is getting +1 vehicle weapons, so that'll give him a significant edge with those siege tanks. But nothing too crazy coming out here. We have combat shields again coming out for our Terran player, so we'll see how this plays out. Again, we have some infestors here mostly and zerglings. So. And he is going to go out in the center of the map here. Once again, take a look at that Zelnaga tower. Let's see if he decides to poke in with these Zerglings. With the +1/+1 Banelings, does he have his Baneling speed yet? I would imagine at this point, yeah, he definitely has his Baneling speed, and he does have these infestors. So it looks like he is going to decide to go back. Ooh, and he's got some wicked creep spread here. Just a huge creep highway going. He's got about 6 million creep tumors in the middle of the map. So that's... something I like to see as a Zerg player. I tend to get behind on my creep spread a lot, but it definitely does help you out, especially later on with these engagements with siege tanks. Any speed boost you can get to really get in there and get that surround before you take too much damage is always good. And plus, you know, you do often see Terran players blowing a lot of scans on just killing off creep tumors. So, you know, Queen energy for creep tumors is probably... you know, later in the game, not as valuable as some of those mules and, you know, the recon with the scans. And at least you don't have to worry too much about burrowed units. You do occasionally get Baneling landmines, but so far we don't see anything like that. And he's moving out with a sizable force here. He's got actually 10 siege tanks and 70 Marines, so hopefully if he gets this siege up right and gets the good positioning, he is going to go ahead and scan, see what's going on here. But this is a scary force here. He's going to look to spread these tanks. Not the best spread, but he does get sieged up. He's going to take out a bunch of those creep tumors. Infestor's going to come get a nice fungal off on all those Marines. They do have the combat shields. They're going to remain with 15 life. Although he did not bring any medevacs, he's going to go ahead and split those. Ooh, another fungal takes out all those Marines. He stims, but again, every stim is just taking off valuable life, and he has no medevacs. I feel like a few... Ooh, and bad positioning for the siege tanks. Those are going to get taken out. Fungal's going to go down. He's going to go in and get in there. I would really like to see him burrow those infested Terrans, maybe try to throw some of those eggs, make those siege tanks kill themselves, but... not a terrible engagement. We'll see what our Terran decides to do, although all his Marines down to 5 life, basically. He has no medevacs. Even, you know, 2 or 3 medevacs could have really changed the tide, would have made this a really powerful push, but now it looks like our Terran player, if he gets one more fungal off on these Marines and those Zerglings, we can definitely go in and just surround these siege tanks. Zerglings trading for siege tanks, usually favorable for the Zerg player here, so although our Terran player does actually have a 50-point supply lead. He's got a ton of Marines coming out here. He's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he's got 6 barracks already. He's got another 5 barracks on the way. He's on 3 base. Now let's check at the upgrades here. He does have the +2/+2 infantry weapons. He's got the +1 vehicle weapons. Oh, and here comes the medevacs. Those are really crucial. I feel like he really should have had those medevacs out sooner. We do have the burrowed infestors here, a few Zerglings. We do have 4 bases now out from our Zergling, our Zerg player. We have a macro hatch coming up here in the natural, and there is a macro hatch in the main. He's on hive tech now, so he does have those adrenal glands about halfway done. That's definitely going to help out in any upcoming engagement if the Terran does not decide to push sooner than that. Ooh, and that would not be wise to engage into that siege tank line. He does have decent vision with the creep, so you know, if that, you know, Terran moves out before that creep recedes, he will be able to see when they're moving, but that's just a scary amount of siege tanks out on the field. We have 12 siege tanks now. Let's see if he looks to go ahead and sort of leapfrog those siege tanks up, or if he just wants to hold here and basically try to contain, bully the Zerg a bit here. But he's still only on Zerglings. He's got still a decent number of Marines. No Spire yet. There's an Ultralisk Cavern coming out, so that's an interesting choice. He's on that Hive tech now. Gonna go for the Ultras. He's got enough hatcheries here to support substantial production, and he does have quite a bit of gas saved up, so he should be able to put out quite a few Ultras. Our Terran player is almost maxed out now, basically maxed out. He's got 198 to 167 supply, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But our Terran player is looking pretty strong here with all these siege tanks, although basically it could go either way depending on how these players decide to engage, depending on whether or not he gets his sieges in. These siege tanks could, they're still in the Zerglings are still in the line of fire. Is he going to decide to engage? And he does run in. He'd lose a bunch of Zerglings. Got some nice fungals off on those Marines. The medevacs now fortunately are there, but those fungals are going to be crucial. He still has a really nice spread on his siege tanks, so this contain is moving closer and closer. Basically, as you can see, the range of the siege tanks is almost at the ramp of the natural. He's going to burrow that infester there. Nice play to see him go ahead and make those tanks shoot each other. Although he does have a really nice spread on these siege tanks, so he should be able to slowly just keep working these forward. Scan, he's going to take out a bunch of infestors. He's got a couple Ultralisks out, but I don't think that's... Well, he's got now... Looks like 6 Ultras, so that's a pretty strong force, but again, it depends on how this engagement plays out. Those siege tanks are going to be crucial, but this is a scary number of Ultralisks. And a big engagement going on here. He's going to decide to go for it, running in with those Ultras. They're going to decide to back out. He loses quite a few. Actually, he lost 1 Ultra, but the rest are all pretty low. He's down to around the 300 HP range. They do have the +5 ground carapace and the +3 melee weapons, so his upgrades pretty much maxed out for a Zerg player. Terran upgrades are +1 on the siege tanks, and I think his Marines are now at +3/+3. They do have stim and combat shield. Oh no, +2/+2. So does he have that +3 on the way? Yes, he does. That's about 3/4 done. That'll definitely help him out in any upcoming engagement. Gonna throw some infested swarm eggs out there, try to maybe pick off one of these medevacs. Will he get it? No, he will not get that medevac, so that's huge there. And he does have a surprisingly large medevac count. Those can make all the difference here when you're dealing with a bio army. So he's just basically content to sit here with these siege tanks. He's bringing out more siege tanks, more medevacs, more Marines. He's got 11 siege tanks on the field and 40 Marines. And this is a tough spot again for the Zerg player. The Terran's really just taking the map control. And meanwhile, very wisely, he's expanded. Maybe, I don't know if he's got a ton of money floating, so why not? He's taken another 3 bases, so he's now on 6 base. Our Zerg player takes 1 more hatch here, so he's now on 5 base, but this is, giving a huge economic production advantage to our Terran player here. And he's just laughing. This is a ridiculous amount of siege tanks here. 14 siege tanks, although I would like to see... he does have the +2 weapons now, no armor for the vehicle, but if you're going to rely that heavily on the siege tanks, at this point with so much money floating, I would like to see some more upgrades on those tanks, especially considering that our Zerg upgrades are at 3/3. Going to run those Zerglings in. Those are going to get repelled here. He's got, again, a huge amount of Ultralisks. Basically, our Terran player is maxed out. Our Zerg player is at 174, 198. But look at the Terran just floating a ridiculous amount of money. Let's take a look at the income tab here. So income tab for the Terran at about 3,000 minerals, 700 gas versus 800 minerals, 700 gas. So Terran's got, at least on the gold, a substantial income. And sorry for that brief interruption there. But so it looks like our Terran player, ZerkerMan, is going to go ahead and move up a few of these siege tanks. He's going to keep them fairly clumped up. Might make sense to spread them out a little bit more, but he does have that huge spread all over the map. And look at this just coverage on this siege tank line. The Zerg player can basically get nowhere here. I guess he can get out of this natural here, go around and try to flank. But either way, the spread on these siege tanks is so nice. And he's going to go for a big engagement here, sending in those Ultralisks. Looks like Fungal's going down on the siege tanks. Those Ultralisks are going in. The Ultralisks are falling at an alarming rate. He is working on those Marines, but wow, and the infested swarm eggs come out. That's going to be huge. Those are pretty much, looks like he's going to clean up this Terran army, but his economy basically has no money. He's floating a ton of gas, almost no minerals. If the Terran player has enough production facilities. He can reproduce Marines at a ridiculous rate here. He has basically tons of money, so it's going to come down to production facilities and what our Zerg player can do. Looks like our Terran player did go ahead and take out this 5th base, so that's going to be huge. Our Zerg player is only mining off a 2 base, well, now really 1 base. He lost that hatchery too. So basically 1 base mining right now. He's got 1 more coming up. Here comes some Marines going to try to pressure this. That would be huge if they can get that, but those Ultralisks look like they're going to clean it up. But man, Marines with medevacs, those medevacs really extend the life of those Marines. It's pretty crazy how long a couple Marines can last against Ultralisks when you got medevacs floating ahead. And so far nothing major going on at this point. Our Terran player just took a ridiculous supply lead, 185 to 200. I'm trying to figure out where all his stuff is. Let's see, take a look at his units tab. So he's got 77 workers now, so a really high worker count, 54 Marines versus basically 3 Ultralisks and an Infestor, a couple Zerglings. So we do have 44 larvae for our Zerg, but he just does not have the economy to spend those larvae, so it's looking pretty grim here. ZerkerMan looks like he's going to wisely send out a few SCVs, sacrificial SCVs, free up some more supply and make an even more ridiculous army. And I think with this next push, he's going to look to end it. He's got 8 siege tanks now out on the field, and he's really looking to basically end the game here. And I think we're going to see a GG in this next engagement. So here he is moving out. Look at the medevac count, 15 medevacs, so these Marines are going to be almost indestructible. We got the stim, we have +3/+3, +2 ground weapons for the siege tanks. He's going to probably look to siege up here soon. May not even need to with this amount of Ultralisks. Siege is going to come a little bit late, hopefully, but either way, I mean, this just, with the size of this army and the capability, the money that this Terran has floating, basically, this is GG, so. And yeah, it's going to move right into the natural here. Basically, it's just a matter of time. A few more Zerglings out. Last desperate move, but these are basically going to do nothing against this ridiculous bio army here. And there's the GG. So good first game. Huge macro game. Very exciting. And ZerkerMan, our Terran, is going to go ahead and take it and go up 1-0 in the series.